This is the World on Water for week ending December 7th. This is what happened around the world in sailing last week on the World on Water. Giovanni Soldini is the first to cross the Transatlantic. Tom Slingsby is skipper of the SAILGP Australian team. The Mark Newson designed Prada Cup for the America's Cup is launched in Monaco.
Right, here's Ocean One. Congratulations, sir, and welcome to Grenada.
We profile Mark Sinclair in the Golden Globe race. And Bob Steele in Australia, double Rolex Sydney Hobart yacht race winner, tells us why he won't be there this year. Sit back, relax. Here's your weekly sailing hit.
Congratulations, sir, and welcome to Grenada.
We are very happy. It was a very nice race. I think it was very tight, and it was fantastic to be together with power play so much in the ocean, and we learn a lot, obviously, because it never happened to make so many days near another boat practically the same. So it was really exciting for us.
It was pretty amazing. After the first night I thought 7 more days of this, it's going to be pretty rough. And then it just got better and better. It just had a fantastic time, and good speeds. The weather was great, a few squalls here and there, and it was such a lovely bunch of people to sail with. I mean, we had stories, Eddie Warden was telling stories all the time. We were laughing all the time and having a really good, and such good competition. I mean, we're 500 miles out and we're side by side, and then you go away again and you're a few miles apart. So it was absolutely incredible to go all the way across like that. And food was good. No beer, of course, which is a bit of a shame. We had virtual gin and tonics at sundown.
And how are you enjoying your beer in Grenada?
We've been discussing this all the way for the last 2 days about what the first beer was going to taste like, and it's tasted just as good as we imagined. Excuse me.
Wonderful.
Just as good as I thought it would be.
For me, this boat really represents pride. I've competed for Australia on the world stage at the Olympics. Since then I've been competing overseas, and now I'm back in Australia. We've got a green and gold boat competing on Sydney Hobart and under the Australian flag.
I've been very fortunate enough to represent Australia both in surf life saving, in swimming, and now in sailing, so it's pretty special.
This boat represents the evolution of sailing to me. It's the new era. Foiling, going fast, athleticism.
We've all been a part of international teams before, and for me personally it's the first time I'm sailing with the Australian flag.
This boat represents home. You got the reel on the side and on the wing, and you got the Aussie flag, and the best part about it is you got 5 Aussies on board.
I think the goal is to try and crack that 50 in our Australian boat first, but who knows, I guess we got to stand by.
So far we've sort of just learning about the boat. It's changed a lot. We've got new foils, new rudders, the control system's changed a lot. So really we've just been getting our head around that. We got so used to sailing the AC50 and how that was set up. We're just basically learning the differences now, and it's been interesting, and for sure these boats are quicker, there's no doubt about it, and just getting accustomed to these new speeds that we're hitting in the... I remember our boards last time used to cavitate at sort of 41 knots. Now these ones will cavitate at sort of 48, 49 knots, and that 7-8 knots doesn't sound too much, but I can guarantee you you feel that 7-8 knots. So just getting used to the differences and the extra speed that this boat's going to provide.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I can turn your attention to the biggest prize in sailing. We have the old mug, the trophy. Please, let's clap her on stage, I think. As we've heard, the oldest trophy in sporting international history. This is Norman and Simon. They're the two bodyguards bringing it on stage, and you can see it's in this beautiful, exquisite Prada case. This is its debut. It's been handmade by Prada artisans in Tuscany. I'll move out of the way. It took 1 week to make by 4 people. It's been handcrafted. And you can see these nails, they were individually put in, and it took 2,000 nails to make. It's based on Prada's historic travel series. And we do have a very special guest in the room. Oh, don't open it yet. We do have a very special guest in the room, the CEO of Prada Group and the chairman of Luna Rossa. It, of course, is Patrizio Bertelli. So she's going to be traveling in this new Prada case everywhere. And here's the trophy itself. We hear some wows there. It was made in 1848 in London by a silver makers called Robert Garrard and Co. They're the royal jewelers. It stands 1.1 meter high. It's quite heavy. It's around 18 kilograms. I love this beautiful trunk underneath as well. And it was actually a lot smaller. So if I get this right, I think it was around here when it originally was made. But because it's been so long, they had to add this bit in the 50s, around 58, and this bit in the 90s, around 1992, to make sure that they could add all the names for the engravings.
Their speed is outstanding, 100% of the time up on the foil. The America's Cup wrestled from the USA by Burling's Men in Black. The trophy belongs to New Zealand. Pure drag race. Oh, there's a collision, a big collision. Oh, that's taking a terrible nosedive. Oh my goodness me. Wow, that just happened really fast.
I think it's not going to be much of a problem getting excited about going racing.
I think everyone has a different way to motivate himself or to keep him up to speed. No, I'm listening a lot to music, but in reality, I mean, the team itself is a big motivation for me to be up to speed and to the top. I think everyone has each individual way to pump himself.
I don't know if you could say we have any particular pre-race ritual. I mean, a lot of preparation goes into it, of course, you know, to have, you know, to make sure the boat's prepared properly, the guys have warmed up, had the right food and so on. But no, I couldn't say it's a team, we all get together and have a team huddle or group hug or anything like that. Not yet anyway, but maybe that will develop over the next couple of years.
Well, on all the boats that we race on, we work very hard on being very process focused. Demeanor on the boat, whether we're a second ahead, a minute ahead, or a minute behind, that you'd never know the difference because it's just how it is. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple pre-race rituals I probably won't share with you, but for the most part, you know, we work very hard on streamlining the operation so that there's a comfort level when you're winning, that you're never comfortable if you're losing, but you're always racing with the same mentality.
Not really per se. I think everyone has their own, you know, things they like doing to, you know, get themselves psyched up for racing, and I think you know, it's not going to be much of a problem getting you know, excited about going racing, you know, with such an incredible boat, you know, such strong challenges, and you know, also being in your home turf. So it's going to be you know, incredible campaign. You know, it's going to take a little bit more power or a lot more power to sail, so everyone's going to have to be incredibly strong. Well, I think you know, I really like the fact that it's going to be a really challenging boat to sail. You know, it's going to be incredibly fast. It could step up on last time. It could step up on what the 50s could do last time. So, you know, but also, you know, have a really good trickle down to the regular yachting as well. So, you know, hopefully, you know, what we can come up with, you know, what these design teams can come up with, will have a, you know, great influence in progressing the sport.
Well, the scale of the boat is a real challenge. Going to 75 feet, you know, we'll have 11 crew instead of 6. There'll be much more of a sailing component, I think, than there was to the last America's Cup boat, the AC50, because you've got more sails. We'll be hoisting and lowering sails like the Code Zero sail, for example. And that'll require more crew choreography and seamanship, and so that'll be a really cool challenge.
You know, it's a design competition, and so putting the pieces together of the puzzle, getting it to be reliable on the water day in and day out is a big one. You know, when you listen to team members that we have inside American Magic, you know, they would talk about a successful week in the AC50 was 3 days sailing, and it's over a 7-day period. And so I think, you know, us being able to go out day in and day out, test the boat reliably, and then race the boat reliably is going to be, you know, that in itself is going to be a big task to achieve.
The biggest challenge is really take the right decision now. I mean, in a few weeks we're gonna send the line to the machine to machine the mold. So it's gonna be a pretty interesting moment, that one, and then after that it's up to us to keep controlling our time.
You know, the one thing that makes them quite different is the foil setup. Instead of trying to create the riding moment through the hull displacement, we're kind of trying to create it through the foil lifting the hull out of the water. So effectively your power source, you know, decreases drag rather than increasing it. So it's yeah, going to lead to a really fast setup, and you know, I think you know, pretty cool boat to sail. You know, it'll manoeuvre really well. So you know, we really should be a great match racing boat as well.
I think sailing a cup boat in such a small number of people is, yeah, you get the benefit of maybe to have a smaller budget, let's say, but in reality you're going to spend that money on some other stuff. More people on board is good, and even the input that are coming from 11 people are much bigger than having input only from a few guys. And for that reason we launched this project which we call New Generation, to try to find new talented guy in Italy, and we've been pretty surprised of the high level of sailor we actually find in Italy, and that is really promising for the future. Yeah.
Well, the crew numbers increased from 6 to 11 this time round, and you know, I think that's just to accommodate a slightly bigger boat. You know, it's going to take a little bit more power or a lot more power to sail, so everyone's going to have to be incredibly strong as they were last time, and you know, it's going to be slightly more, I suppose, choreographing in the manoeuvres, and slightly more teamwork required to actually get the boat around the track in good shape.
Great to be down here today at the St Peter Blake Regatta. We've got the wind filling in now, and it's going to be a great day on the water. There's heaps of boats. It's going to be great racing.
The weather's completely opposite from yesterday. We got beautiful, looks like 10 to 12, maybe 15 in the gusts later on, knots from the nor'east. So yeah, should be a good day for racing.
And it's great to see that the kids are focusing on having fun, good starts, clear air, all the super basics of what a good race takes.
Hi, my name is Pedro and I sailed the Opti, but yesterday we didn't get to sail because there was too much wind. Hi, my name is Samuel and I also sailed the Opti. Let's get ready to go.
Well, in 1968 I was 10 years old, so I was too young, and on the 100th anniversary I'll be 110 years old, so I'll be too old. The 50th anniversary just works about right, and I guess it's a bit more than that. I think a lot of sailors aspire to sail around the world, but you know, quite often it doesn't happen, and the GTR is sort of like a catalyst to action, and it just provides an opportunity to do it on a certain date in interesting circumstances, and it's the 50th anniversary of Sir Robert Knox Johnson's circumnavigation. What greater sort of encouragement could you have? Tricky on DR in these conditions, so I dropped the storm jib and we went under trysail and close reaching.
Into the southwest, and you can see we've got quite big seas here, and we're
Hobart report is brought to you by Pantania Sail and Power Insurance.
No matter what sort of boat you have, whether it's a large power boat, a small yacht, a regular production vessel, give us a call at Pantanius and we'll do our best to satisfy your needs.
Well, we're down at the CYC just before the start of the Hobart race, and two times winner, dual winner, Bob Steele of Quest. Now, you've heard me say Quest is owned by different boats and different owners over the years. It's a man in a boat. That's the story we're talking about today. It's about a man, his love for the boat was so great he came back. So Bob, you better tell us what you've done.
Well, Jeffrey, I bought this boat many years ago, and in fact probably 10 years ago at least. And I loved the boat, but you know, it was a bit like its owner. It was getting a little bit long in the tooth, and I retired from sailing after 35 years of it, and doing, you know, things like Clipper Cups and Kenwood Cups and, you know, Admiral's Cups and all the races north, and, you know, had a bit of luck and was able to win a couple of Hobarts on handicap and second a couple of times. And so anyway, it was time to go, and I sold the boat. My beautiful bride was at home one day, and I was lying on the couch. She said, "What are you doing? Get off your fat A." And I thought, new boat, so in line with...
That's code, is it? That's code for buying a new boat?
It was. So I said, well, you know, economic circumstances dictate probably a smaller boat, so I got a smaller boat, but I couldn't get a pen, the right pen in the right area at the time, so I was down at another pen in another part of Sydney, and I was down there for 3 or 4 years. A lovely little boat. We won the Australian titles way back in 2015 in it, but I wasn't sailing it too much, so the other day I sold it, and the next day a fellow rang me up and said, do you want to buy a boat? He just happened to be Paul Clitheroe, and so I bought the boat back. And another fellow the next day rang up, thank goodness, and said, we were going to buy a boat together, Bob. And I said, well, listen, mate, I said, you can't sell your other boat. We don't want you as a 2B. He said, I sold it yesterday. I said, come in with the chequebook straight away.
So you grabbed his cash and said, well, okay, you're the boat owner.
Neil's now a very proud owner of half a TP52, and I borrowed it off Paul last year, and we could have, would have, gunner, and came second overall in the Tattersall's Cup in IRC.
That's right.
Which was a damn fine effort for an old boat, and we won the ORCI division with 60 odd boats in it, so it's still going fantastically well.
Mate, it's a great boat, isn't it?
Great boat.
Let's go back to the square one. You know, it was born in the USA.
Yeah,
designed by.
It was called Bright Star. It was built in 2004-5. I bought it in 2007. Designed by Farr. And the TP rule changed then. The TP rule was, as it indicates, TP is Transpac. But all the owners decided that they'd get more sponsorship out of the one design situation in the Med. So the boats that they'd already built were obsolete for the Med, because you need a lighter style of boat in the Med area. So this fellow that built this was a little bit aggrieved at that, so he put it in the shed for a year or two, and I found it, you know, almost brand new when I got it. So it's been a great boat. So when Paul said he'd, you know, got a few things to do in the next couple of years, he'd hand it back to me, and here we go again. So we've mapped out a terrific program. We're not actually going to Hobart this year.
Oh no!
We just didn't get the boat in time to get our crew back, or get the right crew, or put it all together. So we decided to have this year off, and we're aiming for next year, the 75th.
It's going to be a
Rolex
big year,
Sydney Hobart yacht race. So you know, that'll be a big one, and I think there'll be a couple of hundred boats. So we're certainly
See the full Bob Steele interview on boatson.tv.
We'll just do a few regattas early. We want to do the TP 52 regatta in, I think it's going to be in March. I think it might be in Newcastle.